Good evening. Welcome to the Planning Board meeting of August 26, 2025 in the Carver Town Hall Meeting Room Number 1. The proceedings will be videotaped and rebroadcast by Area 58 TV. If we could all stand for the flag, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Theoretically, that's going to stop.
Okay.
Theory's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Can't get anything in your own.
Feels good.
It's better to use theories than just shoot things into the space and hope they work. Stick with theories for a while.
And Mr. Bott, am I correct in that the first matter has been removed from the agenda?
That's what I understand from Michelle.
Okay, very good.
I have a lot of confidence.
Do you suggest we wait until this goes off to hear?
No, I just line up Christine and I'll go over and see if the...
Okay, very
usually
good.
it's a couple minutes off.
All right, perfect.
It does say for the Middleborough Planning Board, and I think that.
That's why it was pulled, yes, correct. Yeah. Okay, first on the agenda we have this evening is the public hearing continued for Christine Coolstring requesting a special permit pursuant to Article 5-3 of the Carver zoning bylaw located at 86 High Street in Carver, Mass. Assesses map 29, lot 2 in the residential agricultural RA zoning district to construct a duplex.
Hi, I'm Joe Memo back for 86 High Street. And I think last time I was here, you guys wanted to see the order of conditions from conservation, which you should have this time. And then I can give you a little rundown too on how they came up with their decisions, what made them feel comfortable with what they decided. One of the first thing was the site was riddled with debris over the past 40 years. To give you an idea, it cost me about $20,000 in dumpsters just to get everything out of there, and that was one thing. They wanted just all the trash and everything out of there. And something else that had a factor on them, that this could have been a lot more houses on this lot, but Route 44 came in, they took it by eminent domain, and when they put in Route 44, the runoff from 44, they said caused these wetlands, so they considered them low quality wetlands, and that on top of a couple other things was their decision to approve the lot.
Good looking one.
Does anyone have any questions on the board?
I'm a little confused because it's both approved and denied under B. It's approved, finding was approved subject to and denied because.
Oh, this is an A&R.
Mr. Shea, did you find conflicting information? Or?
Yeah, page, the first page says it's approved and the second page says it's denied. The first page says approved subject to, and finding B's continued on the second page says denied because buffer zone impacts. I mean, it does go on to give a list of conditions for keeping work out of the zone, but
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're there and then denied
Yep.
over here. Yeah.
but, again, I'm not inclined to approve anything inside a wetland zone, especially, especially something like this, which is,
Was there a variance or is there?
No, I don't believe there was any variance needed, because we're still we're just in the 100-foot
Oh,
buffer
you're
zone.
only
We're
in the
not
100.
in the 65, I believe. Yeah,
Okay.
we're not touching the 65.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, but if you're in the 100, you don't need the variance.
Something can't be approved and denied at the same time, and I don't see anything here that mitigates one or the other, so is it an error? Is it maybe final scoop is done that way, or is it?
That's
something
interesting.
not clear earlier?
Yeah, so if I may, it appears as though on page 2, it says approved subject to. I do not know why there is an X in box 3. But this is an order of conditions issued by the Conservation Commission for that structure shown on the plan. Now, whether the board wishes to issue a special permit for this or not, I don't believe that changes whether a structure can be built there. Because the Conservation Commission has said, well, this is this structure, and here are the lines you see on the plan, and they've given an approval for that. So it's up to the board as to whether what's going to be built there is going to be a single-family house, which they can do without the planning board, or they're going to build a duplex.
Right.
So I wouldn't wring my hands too much about what the Conservation Commission approved.
I think I figured out the line.
Does the planning board feel this is an appropriate site for a duplex?
Right.
And if they don't, then the applicant's free to build a single-family house because they've got that permission from the Conservation Commission. So it would appear.
Just very quickly, to try and straighten this out, I would call this attention to the fact that approved is in box A, under number 2. If you start on the second page on the B findings, in terms of order, there's 1, findings pursuant, et cetera, et cetera. And number 2, this commission hereby finds the project, and underneath that is approved, subject to A, denied because B and C. And I just thought of what you mentioned, Tom. The next item is 3, not D. So it's not sequential with A, B, and C. It's outside of A, B, and C. It's sequential with number 2 on the previous page.
Oh, you're right.
So it's not
seen
denied
that as
because
well.
of some
Yeah, it's
impacts.
not.
It is
Yeah.
a separate item. So I think in terms of that, it's kind of it's very confusing the way it's printed.
Right.
I've read it exactly the way you did, Connie, and especially with
Yeah.
this so small. I didn't even notice that B, C, and 3. I just accepted the fact that after C would be a D, and when Tom said number 3, I said, what, number 3,
I
what's
see
number
what
3?
he's, I
Yeah.
believe I
It's
see what
very,
he's
very
saying.
misleading.
You're absolutely correct. Thank you, Mr. Maynard.
And I believe 3 is just telling me I cannot go within
Right.
that 65-foot buffer that it's a
Right.
That's
denial.
the project as
Right.
proposed.
Yeah, you would need the
is
variance from them.
approved
to-
and
Exactly,
denied.
yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So, well, yeah.
Just so we
Regardless.
understand.
It doesn't change the fact that I don't think we should be doing development inside of the wetlands, but this is up to the Conservation Commission, but it's up to us to decide whether we allow increased development inside protected areas, and I'm firmly against that, so.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from the board? No? Whereas this is a public hearing, would anyone like to come forward and speak on the matter? We don't seem to have that. All right, if there were no other matters, I'll get a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make said motion.
I'll second that motion.
Chris Lake says aye.
Mr. Robinson?
Ms. Robinson says aye.
Mr. Shea says aye.
Ellen Sedillo says aye.
Mary Ellen Williams says aye. Now, Mr. Memo, would you be putting, if you build a single-family home rather than a duplex, would you be putting it in the same location?
Yes, I cannot move out of that footprint unless I want to go back through conservation.
Okay.
So if I was gonna do a single family, I'd have to stay in that footprint. And if
Okay.
denied a duplex, I'm going to go for a single family and an ADU. I don't know if that changes anyone's decision on anything, or,
Okay.
I'm hoping I could go for that at least,
Okay,
is my backup plan.
all right.
I just look at it from, aside from it's in the wetland, but from services and in regards to the amount of people residing, cars residing, waste, and various other aspects, I just don't think it's appropriate, so.
Okay, all right.
Given that he would probably go the route of putting an ADU on that, I'm gonna go and make a motion to approve based on the fact that we need two-family houses, triplexes, 4 and 5 family houses, but not this MBTA 15-unit houses.
Yes,
So I'm okay with that, making a motion.
okay.
And well, my thing about the ADU is it's.
So we have to have a second, I think,
Yes,
after a motion
if
has
he's
been
making the
made
motion,
for
we need a
additional
second.
discussion.
I'll second that.
See, I don't see where, you can't put an ADU inside the 100-foot mark, so I don't see where one could go in there, so I don't think that's necessarily germane to the conversation, so.
My thought would be, it's a 60-foot wide house, I'd do a 40 by 26 and attach the ADU and still stay within that structure. Again, these are thoughts, I'm hoping I don't have to go that route. I haven't talked to anyone, these are just my thought. I'd still stay within those limits, almost like an in-law style.
Again, I don't believe that ADUs are allowed inside of a protected area, so.
Yeah, they are.
Aren't they by
It's a
right?
house. An ADU is a house, just like a house. There's no special permit required by the planning
Right.
board. It's just like building a house.
It doesn't change.
Okay. All right, well, any other questions? Comments? No? Mr. Robinson has made a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Yeah. All right, very good. Mr. Lake?
Says aye.
Nay.
Kevin Robinson says aye.
Ellen Sedillo says aye.
Mary Ellen Williams says aye.
All right, so that is 4-1-0. All right, Joe, we'll have a decision done up for you in a couple of days.
All right, thank you, guys.
Have a good night.
Next on the agenda this evening, we have continued discussions on the MBTA zoning bylaw. Mr. Bott, would you like to start off?
Alrighty, only that I sent emails and I talked to a few folks last week based on feedback I got from Barrett Planning, who had suggested that one location is the best course of action for the town to take in the case of the MBTA zoning district. Knowing that time was pressing and they were looking for some direction to start working on some things, I reached out to board members. I heard back from most of you who said West Street was fine. Connie had talked about how he preferred Meadow. Alan sent a number of indications about how he would could see merits of a number of different things. But based on the conversation we've had from hearing from 4 of you that West Street was fine, I suggested to Judy that they spend their time working on that. Right now we're hoping to see a zoning bylaw that we can have a hearing for that we originally hoped it would be the 9th of September. Now, best case scenario, we're probably opening this hearing on the 16th, but it's also a real possibility we won't have zoning until the 23rd. So we're just trying to move this process along to get us to a point where we're not having a hearing on the day of town meeting. I don't anticipate something like that, but these things do take time to write, and that's where we're at.
Now, my question is, we started off initially targeting 3 areas. Is it the Barrett Group that has said
Yeah.
they just want us to focus on one?
Yeah, I think the idea was to look at a few, to put them into the compliance model to see if those various areas would work in the compliance model.
Okay,
So we looked at those 3, and we heard back from them that all 3 of them typically work, plus or minus a few units, that all 3 would work. My original thought was, given that the town doesn't feel like they have any choice in adopting an MBTA zoning bylaw, I thought, wouldn't it be great if we had a choice of what spot we might put that in, to say, well, we're going to do the zoning, but in one of several different locations. And as Judy pointed out, I think it might have been in the body of the email that I sent you, the difficulties they had in Duxbury and how it got to that point. Because one group started doing the compliance. The town planner at the time had another track. And so they had these various different tracks that brought them to town meeting twice because of the confusion in the different locations and things like that. And Judy had said, based on their experience, they don't think it's really, and if you do several different locations in Carver, then you have to do them as sub-districts as well, because you just identify, you know, 2, just say 2 districts, and those 2 districts can hold 500 some odd units based on the area that you've got. There's no cap on how many units you zone to get to that spot. So you could have a couple different places with various sub-districts on it. But it just seemed, in Judy's mind, from her experience, to be tougher for a town meeting to digest and just more complex than it needs to be for something like this. So in the case of the 30 to 32 West Street property, if that's one that we're looking at, it would create the zoning district at the front of the parcel. And then as you get towards the rear where the wetlands and things like that start to impinge upon the property, that would be that sub-district that is left for open space. So you'd have that one location that you could put the requisite number of units in to comply with the zoning at 15 dwelling units per acre. That
Okay.
was their recommendation. And like I said, we started this conversation initially in November, and then we decided in July to, okay, let's try to do this thing. So right now we're in that pinch where we just got to make some decisions and move the ball along.
okay.
The area behind Meadowbrook, is that owned by the state? And
Yeah, it's owned by the Carver Housing Authority, and it is likely eligible as well, because no one has said that it wasn't. We've heard a couple different opinions about it can be state property if it's used for housing and has been debated in a previous housing production plan. We've heard from other folks that if it's state-owned property, such as, like, let's call it, if the state had an airport, you couldn't put it on an airport, but in this case, it's a housing authority property for housing. So Judy says likely it is eligible, but if we look at that advice of let's pick a spot and not one spot, let's pick that one, and my indication from what I've heard from the board members is we would like the passes, like to pass the zoning so we can don't have to incur whatever wrath the Commonwealth has for us. But we'd also like to put in a spot where we don't think people are going to build something. And if they do build something, there's a net positive to the town, which is what 30 to 32 West Street I felt lined up with. A difficult spot to develop because of the likely contaminants on the site. So if somebody does opt to build that on that site, well, we get housing and we get a cleaner site. But because of the cost, as I've indicated a number of times, to build housing, particularly in Carver, and how it pencils out, as developers call it, does it make them any money back? A spot like 30 to 32 West Street may be that area that's unlikely to be built. And like I said, if for some reason somebody does build something, you certainly would like it in a spot where you're like, oh, well, we didn't think that was going to happen if we picked that spot. So back to what I said before, the town doesn't really want this bylaw, but
Right.
really wants it passed.
Right.
So put it in a spot that makes it difficult to build and has some benefit to somebody building it, if they do.
Well, to be honest with you, that was my theory right along, choosing that location, because I don't want this for the town, but it's not up to me, it's up to the townspeople. So my theory was to pick a location that made it very difficult for someone to come in. We don't need 235 units mandated by the town. Certainly, if people want to build homes, then that's a different story at their own pace. But to have this kind of shoved down our throat, that's why I really wanted to target that particular area. I don't know how everyone else feels on the board, but,
And we don't make any tax revenue from housing.
Oh, yeah.
well, we do. It's just not on the level of a commercial property, of course, so.
Who pays those taxes? The developer?
Well, no, it depends.
Homeowner.
Yeah,
It's
if-
going to be a homeowner, or if they rent it, I don't know what the requirements are on that, but there will be taxes paid to the town, of course. But it also comes along with a strain on everything else in the town, such as the school, the fire, EMS, police. That's been my problem right from
And
the,
who's going to pay for that?
we are.
Yeah.
The people who
Yeah.
live,
Yeah.
people pay taxes, whether you own a
Yeah.
house or whether you
Yeah.
live in an apartment. Your rent pays your landlord to pay the taxes.
So hence the reason why in my mind, I wanted to make it as difficult as possible. And then if a developer wants to come in and put something in, that's a different story. But
Yep.
for the state to mandate it, I have
It's
a problem with
unbelievable.
that.
And Madam Chair, I am in agreement with you on that. I feel exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Are we still thinking Meadowbrook? Because, I mean, that's, first of all, you gotta find places for everybody to live, and then before you can start development, and then.
Well, I almost think, Mr. Shea, that if we target as they are suggesting, which I hope it doesn't turn out to be true, but if we were to target 3032 West Street, the chances of a developer coming in and making something of that property, it's very slim to none because of the contamination. That will cost someone a
What we
fortune.
believe to be we don't actually know it's contaminated.
Well, I mean,
I don't want to disparage someone's property, but
No,
it
I-
certainly would look like a duck, certainly would.
that is correct. I know the property.
Yeah.
I know the owners.
Yeah.
And they don't know that I've suggested this, but I'll have that conversation at some point in time. But I also know that if someone came along, then they would name their price.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
That's all there is to it.
That's at the end of the day. that's
Still
what
hold
we're
on, they
driving.
do
Yeah.
duplexes and
Yeah.
triplexes in 4 and 5 family unit buildings.
But-
It would be wonderful if the state would just let us build duplexes, triplexes, 4 and 5 unit.
Right.
And grow over the course of the 10
Right.
years instead of the 235 immediately.
Well, you can do those things too. We can approve more duplexes along the way and
And that's
But
what,
Yeah,
at our,
and-
that's
yeah.
my point tonight.
right, at our pace.
Right, at our pace.
At
That's
our pace,
exactly
yeah.
what I want.
Now,
That's
the
exactly-
thing about West Street is we don't know the level of contamination, we don't know how deep it goes or what it's gonna take to clean it up. And yes, I do wanna see it cleaned up,
Yeah.
but I think, you know, we're also looking at, 53 acres, 30 of which is developable. I mean, that's a lot of acreage to deal with. I mean,
Yeah, that's where the zoning line comes in
and
at.
there's no cap on this. That's
Right.
why Meadowbrook, which is already high-density housing,
Mhm.
and it might be a little bit higher than what we allow, but we could require open space there too. And then, of course, I'm a firm believer in Spring Street, that's right at the cap. It's at 227, we add in a half an acre, and then you're at 235, 240 houses that can be built there. And it's right off the highway.
I like the location. I think that might be more attractive to someone to come in, don't
I
you?
think it's kind of boxed in with the highway, the cranberry bogs, and
Right.
The Massachusetts state-owned land, so
Yeah.
I think it would be incredibly difficult.
Yeah, okay, all right. So are you suggesting then we add something to Spring Street so as to have that as our primary focus?
I would add a property next to it, maybe an acre and a half property next to it.
Yeah,
because
all those properties across the street are owned by the Mass DOT.
across the street, but not next to it. So, and my other issue with West Street is, say the town ends up with this property, which is entirely likely, through tax taking or some other taking, the town's just gonna give it away, just to get it cleaned up. So then we're in that spot again.
Right. Understood. Yes.
Yeah, based on 11 Green Street, I don't think the town's going to take anything else without a 21E in place beforehand. So I'd like to stay focused on moving forward versus moving backward.
Right.
So
Okay.
what is our one spot that we like? I've heard previously from 4 of you that West was, and I've heard from 2 that
Right.
had other options.
I think Meadowbrook is our best chance. It's already high density, it's right here in the center of town, the school's across the street, the police station, the fire station are right here. I think honestly that is the most attractive spot, and then I would go to Spring Street after that, because of its more secluded location, and then I would put West Street as last, because it's still, as much as I'd like to see it clean up, it's still the most desirable out of all 3 properties.
Which is the complete opposite of what everybody has said last week. I'm just trying to.
Including me.
I'm just trying to
Including
move
me,
it all along
yes.
here.
Yeah, you're correct.
I don't want to misrepresent anything you said, I said, or anything like that, but I believe my preference, I'm sorry, reboot. My preference was for Meadowbrook with the caveat that, you know, we don't know if it is acceptable or not, and it sounds as though it is acceptable, so I think that would win in favor for me. Again, I think we're all trying to do the same thing here, so I don't think there's a serious, from my perspective, there's not a serious objection to any of these things, but I think if I had my druthers, it'd be Meadowbrook. But
Mr. Bott, do we need to go to town meeting with only one? Can we have it broken out?
Based on the advice of our consultant and having this passed at town meeting, I would opt for 1 location.
So we put 1 forward, and either the town accepts it or rejects it. I mean, theoretically, we could have 2 articles and rescind the second article if the first one is chosen, but I think that's just adding another layer of trouble,
Right.
problems, red tape.
I think if it's possible to word it in one warrant article, I think that makes more sense, but contingent upon one thing or another. I mean, where people say, are to understand that they're voting for something that will happen, and these are the 2 possibilities, and if they have, you know, serious enough objections, then on one or the other, you know, maybe that takes on the possibility of passing. I think what's going to be very important, and I'm not sure, who speaks for this? Who will be asked to speak for this? Would that be you, Madam Chair?
I hope not. But
Well,
My instincts tell me that
I think
probably.
we're going to speak, I think it needs to be very, very clear and concise and hit all the points that we want to hit, and explains that, you know, we're doing our duty, and we're doing the best we can to comply with the law, and the best we can by the town, and for that reason, what we're doing is not perfect, and we recognize it's not perfect, but if you vote it down, we're going to be in durance vile with the state. So really, we're trying to make the best we can out of the situation, and that's why we're presenting to you as we are. Not
I
because
don't know
it's
as
something-
if it's advisable to go into something and present it in that fashion, because you've already, you know, kind of swayed their vote. So that's what these
Well, again,
meetings are for.
I'm kind of just a broad line of what we want to put in people's minds, I think, is that we've got to do this, so what's the least bad thing we can do?
Right.
I don't know, I mean, I'm not a politician, thank you to God, so I'm not very good at selling the unsellable.
Well, I would like to say, if I have to present it, which I very well may have to present it, I would assume, but I would like very much to say something like that, because as we all know, I've been very vocal, I don't support this at all.
Yeah, no, I don't.
You know, so
I'd be glad to sharpen my pencil and help you draft it.
I appreciate that,
We
thank you.
can vote 5-0 to put it on the warrant, but then we still make our recommendations in regards to it. So-
Okay, all right.
So what are we looking at? Again, I just want to hear what everybody else thinks. I would put Meadowbrook first and Spring Street second and West third. That's how I would number them down. I would require a little bit of open space on the Meadowbrook for walking or a park area type deal, and bring that number down to the appropriate number.
My only concern with Meadowbrook is that I think that is very appealing for a developer to come in.
Well, the town would have to sell it, and the town would have to find alternative arrangements for all the residents in it, and I would think that that would be very difficult, and not only that, but the town would be disinclined to be kicking out a whole bunch of Carver
Well,
residents.
that's a
because
valid point.
It's
Yeah.
not gonna look good.
Yeah,
I know I've heard from one elected member in town who is on the Housing Authority Board who has told me a couple of times he would prefer that Meadowbrook not be the place that the town looks at doing their zoning at. That's just one vote, not from the planning board, but someone who's on the board for the Housing Authority.
And I would expect the Carver Housing Authority would have some say in the matter of whether it was sold or transferred to the
right,
development.
right.
And do I recuse myself because I'm on housing?
No? No, not at all.
Well, I mean, if you're on the housing, then I assume you want more housing, right? Smart housing.
They're there to oversee,
Oh,
and to make sure they get clean water, right, and that things are up to certain standards.
no pressure.
Okay.
So I've given I've
Okay.
ranked them in my choice. I
Very
would
good.
like to know how the other members feel so that we can move forward with this.
I'm still uncertain as to, do we do 1 or 3?
Well, we'd have to come back with much smaller properties out of what we've pulled so far. So, like, we could probably do like a half and a half, but, I mean, Meadowbrook is one lot, and it's hard to, don't really want to break that up, so how do you separate it into multiple zones? I mean, Spring Street is a half an acre from meeting the requirements, and then, you know, and how are you gonna, and West Street is another 53-acre lot, how are you gonna break that down to make smaller subdivisions? Because I am in favor of the smaller subdivisions, but you'd have to go for something like Wenham Road and then add another small 5-acre one somewhere. I wouldn't know where to begin looking.
I don't know as if we have time to look at other ones according to Mr. Bott. Yeah.
We are way past time.
Right, right.
Therein lies the rub.
Any other ideas or suggestions?
Would you entertain me making a motion for us to go ahead and vote on the community's multifamily overlay district to be on West Street?
I'd like to make said motion if someone wants to second that.
I'll second.
I'm gonna say the same thing, 53 acres, potential for 839. There's no limit on what they can, you can't say you can only build 235, so that's gonna be my concern. That and the fact that, you know, the property's empty.
Right.
The Green Business Park, they dealt with the contamination issue, and it was very inexpensive. They just put a cap over it, cement
Right.
cap over it, and walked away, so that would, I don't know how to express that. I just think
There's
as
the
much as
potential
I-
there for something much bigger than what we're looking at.
Okay, we got a motion and a second.
Yes.
We done with discussion?
Yeah, again, I just highly recommend,
Okay.
don't recommend this, so.
So,
We're kind of like, you know, forced to pick, like, you know, it's like, we're really, I don't want to pick any of them, but, you know,
Exactly.
we have to pick
We're
something,
forced to pick a
unfortunately.
worst
You want the root canal with toilet?
Yeah, it's like, what are we gonna do here?
About it being bigger than it should be, but I'm gonna have to trust that we've done our due diligence in making it the most difficult place to be developed.
Yeah, I think
But as
we
you
had
said, it's
originally
just
said
not difficult.
West Street originally, I thought, right? Or we had kind of,
We did. I guess the only concern is the discussion now is the ability for them to put in far greater than 235 units on that location, right?
Right.
Trust your consultant that they said you can zone this site to the maximum density that you need, and they will have a sub-district for open space. So essentially, they will, I don't want to say engineer the site because they're planners, but they will use that essentially software to look at situating those sites on the unit.
So we would be capped.
Yeah, so capped is not the word, but you would, the area that is identified for the zoning
Right.
would be an area that is sufficient for 235 units of housing and the parking that goes with it.
How do we express that legislatively in a zoning bylaw?
Because that's where you come in with a district and a sub-district. So the district being where the units are at and the sub-district being those open spaces. They talked about it a few different times in a few different elements. But essentially, you'd have that area that's developable for those 235 units and the area that's open space that's not developable.
And it remains that way.
Correct.
So in terms of the way it would be explained, we wouldn't have to explain every intricacy of it. As long as we're aware and we're comfortable that's going to be able to be implemented and be binding, we can explain that if this is in fact purchased by somebody and they try to build on it, they'll be able to build the maximum for 35, and that's that. And we've taken
Correct.
precautions for that, which sounds a good thing for us if we're able to say that. So.
Right.
I actually know some people that live right on the corner of High and Spring, and they were like very concerned about having, they were talking to me like, please, like, I'm like, okay, well, I get it,
Right.
So, and they don't, nobody really wants it anywhere, but,
Right.
Right, and this is right across from Crystal Lake too, so.
Okay,
you know,
so
Yeah. No, I know the paddocks too, so I know.
So the motion that Mr. Robinson has made is to bring forward 30-32 West Street, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
And Curtis, second.
Yeah. Yeah,
And we're on further discussion. Are we through?
I think we're through.
Yep.
Are we?
I've cautioned against it, so that's all
Okay.
I can do.
All right, very good. Mr. Lake?
Says I.
Mr. Shea, oh, sorry.
I think it's you.
No,
Oh,
Robinson.
Kevin Robinson says aye.
Mr. Shea says nay.
Ellen Sodillo says aye.
Mary Ellen Williams says aye.
all right.
Mr. Maynard is glad he doesn't have to vote.
Lucky you.
You can practice, but not at the polls. All right, thank you, guys.
All right. Still trying to digest that, I'm sorry. And Mr. Bott?
So we have a Economic Development Steering Committee that the Select Board are appointing folks to. Planning Board representative. It's been discussed a couple times. We just need to know who from the Planning Board might be sitting on the Economic Development Steering Committee.
Very good. I think we had discussed briefly and previously that I would be happy to do so. I don't know if anyone else on the board would like to do so.
We've got them intimidated.
Listen, I agreed to do Serpent.
Okay, no, I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
I can't spread myself much thinner than that.
No?
It's all yours.
It's all yours if you
Mr.
want.
Maynard? No?
For you.
All right, so by acclamation, Mary Ellen Williams. But wait, there's more. We
I
could
think
appoint
I know
someone
who
to the
this
Community
one-
Preservation Committee as well while
Yes.
we're on a roll.
Thought I saw someone want to throw their hat in the ring on that.
If nobody else wants it, I'll volunteer myself.
I already sit on it, so I have to be excluded.
Very good. All right.
If it's all right, is it
I believe it's going to be Mr.
I
Lake.
mean, you guys do it.
Fantastic.
Yes.
I
I'm
just-
thrilled.
Yeah.
We're really struggling to meet quorum, and it's gonna be fantastic. I think you'll enjoy it. But a quick question now, before we close things out. When it comes to our bylaw for this, are we gonna require same bylaws that affect the rest of the town? In other words, parking has to be screened, and it should be behind the buildings. Are we gonna require a variance in architectural details so it doesn't look like what's across the street here, which are 3 cookie cutter houses?
What are we
I
talking
believe
about?
Mr. Bott said
We're
that
we're talking about the MBTA, the zoning.
We would.
Okay,
we would
I thought
have
we were somehow got
the
the
ability to.
4 and 5 on the agenda so far.
Yeah, no. Wondering, how we can kind of draft that and,
Yeah, so one of the things in a conversation with Judy that she does is she spends an awful lot of time figuring out your town and not just pulling something off a shelf and putting your name on it. So those characteristics you tend to have in your zoning are the characteristics she tends to put into the zoning that she's putting together for this, which is why I have such confidence in what they're doing and what they're putting together for to protect the town and to create the zoning that'll pass muster.
yeah,
So I would venture to say that while I haven't seen a stitch from her, it's going to reflect what the town zoning reflects.
okay, very good.
Best I can do without, but to say, oh yes, it'll absolutely be there, but this is just what I know about Judy, and that's why she wanted specific to sites, because the zoning will be geared specifically to those
Okay.
those sites.
Very good.
Would this allow people to be, I don't know, scrutinized to make sure that there's no issues going on with the people moving into these units?
I doubt it.
No, if you're a renter, you get first and last months, and you got a credit report, then you get a unit. The people who do vet folks are folks like Habitat for Humanity, who look at, sort of people's, for lack of a better term, character. Are they gonna put that sweat equity into place? But no, private landlord, they don't care about your morals. They want first month's, they want last month's rent. They know they're gonna pay their bills. There's very few organizations outside of the ones that I know looked at, who's gonna be in there other than the simple dollars and cents that come in.
There are some, a handful.
Good.
But you're right, not many.
No.
Yeah.
My concern is I just don't want a parking lot with 5 of the same buildings around it. It's unattractive, it's
I would agree.
problematic, and
Yeah.
it leads to societal issues.
Yeah,
Right on that, Connie.
okay.
Madam Chair, I have a question for Mr. Planner. September 9th and September 16th meetings, the zoning bylaw hearing. Are either of those 2 nights our regular planning board meeting?
Yeah, September 9th is.
So September 9th.
September
So-
9th and September 23rd are regular dates for us,
Yeah.
right?
So why is our meeting September 9th at the Carver Police Station?
Because that is for the zoning bylaw hearings. And so on a number of occasions, the select board has decided they were going to have a meeting that wasn't necessarily their regular meeting night, and they opted to take room 1.
But why do they have the right to do that?
I don't believe they do, but I think
Okay.
they do. I've had a couple conversations with Glenn about it. In fact, at one point, they moved a meeting and then moved it back because the chairman said, I'm not moving the meeting, a previous chairman. So I just wanted to make sure that we were having at the police department where we had room for enough people to come there and no one would be subject to hijacking your room.
Right.
I don't want people walking around the complex going, is the meeting here, is the meeting there? So.
Well, I bring it up because we had a difficult time in our
It was
last meeting.
awful.
Yeah.
It wasn't the right place to have the meeting.
No.
Yeah,
And-
likely
and
because.
I have never seen this room filled.
Yeah. Well, likely because September 9th, there wasn't anybody there before the meeting to make sure the room was set up the way it was supposed to be. And I usually am over there. But as we talked about before,
I would like to put it on the record that I am not in favor of having our meetings over there. And if there's some discussion that needs to be had, with Mr. Cannon, I'd be happy to do so because those are our regular meeting nights.
Yeah, we actually had a meeting last year when we started doing this. I think we'd scheduled a meeting for the high school auditorium, thinking it might be a big draw.
Right,
And then
right.
we didn't do zoning, and we were in this kind of big room with a couple things to talk about.
But wait, so right now we're having the discussion, I mean, we only had one other thing on the agenda tonight, and we have 2 people here. So I'm not, so I don't think that we're going to get flooded with people for these meetings.
Well, and the fact that we don't exactly know when our other zoning's going to be, is it going to be on the 16th, it's going to be on the 23rd, it's going to be on the night of the plan. I just wanted that consistency of having it in the same room
Okay.
each time. Just looking forward and just trying to minimize folks' confusion of getting to a meeting
Okay.
and where a meeting's going to be at. So,
I guess my point is, the room is ours.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why we're even discussing it. The room is
Yeah.
ours.
Can we have it here?
When we,
I mean, it's,
when we hold a public hearing and continue a public hearing, it is to a date and time certain. And
Right.
if that date and time certain is here at 7 o'clock, then that's where we're bound to be. So that's my feeling on this.
our hearing notice for the 9th is scheduled for the Carver Police Department, so we've already advertised the 9th for the Carver Police Department.
okay. And can we change the one for the 23rd then?
We certainly can.
Okay, good. All right,
We have enough time, right?
yeah.
Well, it'll be a continued, only the first requirement when we continue it from the public, original opening of the public hearing, we continue it to a date and time certain.
Well, you do have in the back of your books the hearing, the information for the meeting on the 9th. So you
Okay.
can take that with you.
Very good.
And based on what's on the meeting for the 9th, who knows, you may get everything done on the 9th that you have on your agenda. There's nothing really else scheduled for the 9th at this point. So we may have one night of planning board hearings for use regulations, accessory apartments in Jellystone. Perfectly conceivable that all this could happen in one month. So the preference would be to have those future meetings, whether it's 9/9 or 9/16,
Okay.
in room 1.
I haven't received an updated minutes from the June 24th meeting, they were incomplete last time, so
Oh, I didn't see those. You're right.
I don't know if anybody has a copy and they prove.
That is correct. I am filling in the missing information from that meeting, and I haven't had a chance to get to
Okay,
it.
yeah, because they weren't in the email.
Other than that, I would, oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to ask him, next on the agenda would be the notes.
King Richard's Fair opens this weekend. I believe Saturday is Carver Day.
Yes?
King Richard has an awful lot of work to do.
I expect he does.
King Richard has an amazing amount of work to do.
They're not getting much sleep there.
All the king's horses and all the king's...
Yeah. So, believe what the billboards in Boston say when it's opening, but we'll see how Rich does with his punch list of things to do.
I do see some of the vendors on a daily basis.
They have an awful lot of things to do.
Uh-huh, they do, they do.
But the decision, the minor modification decision is here for your board signatures, if you would be so kind to do that as we
Very
head
good.
out the door, and that's all I have.
And do we have the, next would be the minutes?
So minutes are emailed to board members.
Yes.
I do have hard copies of some of those minutes as well, if someone needs to take a look at one of them.
I read them.
No, 624 was incomplete.
624 is complete, but the 7-1,
I'll make a motion to approve the July 1st, 2025 meeting minutes.
okay.
We'll second that.
I just want to add that I was only at the joint meeting. So I don't know if those are being handled separate, Mr. Planner?
I don't know.
Because they were separate.
That's true, because we went,
Yeah, we had two separate, like two,
yeah,
went downstairs for the second part.
Right,
And you
right.
weren't.
So you
I
were
was on the
not.
phone.
So on July 1,
I was on the joint meeting on the phone
correct, but you were not at the.
in attendance.
So Chairwoman Mary Ellen Williams is lined out on that top line
Yeah,
for the public hearing for King Richard's Fair,
So
Yeah.
do,
for later that night.
After the combined one, we went
do
down.
we have two
Which one
separate
did I
meeting
miss?
minutes for that? Because I only saw the downstairs meeting minutes.
Well, we went to,
I thi-
we adjourned the joint meeting, and then we went downstairs for the planning board's meeting.
I can't remember if it was a
Unjoined.
continuation, it was broken out, I think.
No, I believe Ms. Sardillo closed our meeting up here, and then we moved downstairs where we had our separate meeting. And those are those are the meeting minutes that I'm looking to approve, were the separate ones for downstairs, not the, I don't believe, we got the joint meeting minutes, did we?
We did.
Oh.
I thought we did, because I read it.
Oh, well, I didn't have any problem with it. I read all through the minutes, and I
Okay.
didn't have an issue with
Okay.
either one. I just wanted to clarify and make sure that we're not approving something that,
Okay.
Yeah, we just need to get rid of Mary Ellen on the July 1 meeting that's downstairs,
Yes,
which I've lined out.
very good. All right, so,
Was kept.
Can I second it where I was absent?
Yeah.
That was, I seconded reading it, but then obviously, I'm
It's probably
absent.
best to,
probably not.
Right.
probably best to have someone else do that.
Okay.
So July 1 is what we got up on the,
I made the motion to approve the meeting minutes of July 1st.
Mr.
second.
You'll second? Okay. Mr. Lake will second. All right, Mr. Lake?
All right.
Mr. Shea says aye.
And Kevin Robinson was absent.
Ellen Sedillo says aye.
Mary Ellen Williams says aye.
yes, that's 401.
And I will make a motion to approve the minutes of 7/15/2025.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Was that good? 1:15.
I think so.
That's it.
She was just asking about the 7:15.
Uh-oh.
They made a motion and seconded.
Oh, okay.
Would you like to vote?
Aye.
Yeah.
Kevin
Aye.
Robinson says aye.
Aye. Sorry, Kevin.
Ellen Sedillo says aye.
Mary Ellen Williams says aye. If that's it,
So that was due July 15?
July 15th, yes,
All right.
correct.
That's 500. Thank you.
All right,
Motion to adjourn?
thank you.
And the last thing is just
Second it.
Second,
sign it on your.
very good.
Aye. Chris Lake says aye.
Kevin Robinson says aye.
Mr. Shea says aye.
Ellen Sedillo says aye.
Mary Ellen Williams says aye.
Mr. Mayor says bye.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you very much.